Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is Joe Taylor. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you, Bernadette?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for
Good.
coming on the podcast today.
Absolutely.
So, Joe, can you tell us more about you and what is your story?
Oh, where do I start, Bernadette? It's a lot. But to summarize in a nutshell, I was born and raised in Jamaica, number one. So I'm a Jamaican, and I was raised as a pastor's kid, or I should say, an ordained bishop's kid.
Mhm.
Have eight siblings. I'm the last of six girls, and so I have three brothers. Uh, I have been in ministry for all my life, basically, but more actively, I would say over like 3 decades. And and I've come through different twists and turns in ministries and have five failed marriages. And after all of that, I am an ordained pastor as well as an author, and I have my own podcast. But that all happened after I walked away from my last marriage. So I found a new me.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, I heard about what happened in Jamaica. Do you have families there, and how is it down there right now?
I do. I do still have family, and where I grew up, it's not as bad as some places. Some of the parishes were flattened, so it looks like there's nothing that was even there or ever there.
Yeah.
The houses in the neighborhood where I grew up, they're still there. However, some people may have some roofing and some things like that kind of blown off.
Mhm.
But our homes, we have properties, family homes, and those are still intact, thank God.
Mhm.
But of course, we all the trees, all the fruit trees, banana trees, breadfruit trees, things like that, have all blown down. But that's nothing comparing to others who have lost their lives and lost their
Yeah.
homes and lost livestock. They raised cows and chickens and things like that. They
Mhm.
didn't they didn't get saved at all. They weren't able to save those animals.
Mhm.
And for some people, that's their livelihood. So it's
Yeah.
really a sad time
Yeah.
for the country, and people are starting trying to rebuild. And so right now, for those of us who are in the States, we're trying to put some things together just to ship some things to those who,
Mhm.
not just our families, but for the community that we grew up in, who we can help and give back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's always heartbreaking when natural disasters like this happen. I'm
Yeah.
from Haiti, which is in the Caribbean as well, and we've had the earthquakes more than once, and not tsunami, hurricanes. It's just
Mhm.
devastating when it happens. So,
I know.
yeah, I'm just sending everyone there who's impacted, even if the person is not physically in Jamaica, they're from there like you, they are still
Yeah.
impacted. So,
Yeah. Thank
sending
you.
you love and healing energy, and pray
Yeah.
that everything restores soon.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So when did you leave Jamaica? Were you raised there up to what age?
Up to a teenager. So I was raised there, and I attended a high school in New York.
Yeah.
Graduated from there, went to college in New York, and moved from New York to uh, Georgia first, and then from Georgia to California, from California to Florida. Now I'm back in Georgia.
Oh, back and forth.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh,
But
okay, okay. That's awesome. Talk to us about your faith. What does that
mm,
mean to you? And were there ever times in your life that you doubted the God that you're serving?
that's a great question, Bernadette, and thank you for that question. My faith is very important to me. It's everything to me. Uh, if I don't have my faith, I don't have life. To me, that's the way that I can phrase it. I have actually, to be honest, went into some quiet times throughout my journey in faith because, as I mentioned at the top of the show, that I also had 5 failed marriages. So the first one started very young, and I was a youth leader at the time in a ministry in New York. And during that time, when the marriage didn't work out, back then, very, very deep Christian faith. And as a believer back then, you don't get a divorce, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So of course it was seen as the biggest sin ever.
Mm,
And so I was challenged at time in my faith to think that now's the time that I need the support from my family, from my Christian brothers and sisters, and I didn't get that. And so I questioned it in terms of, now's the time that we're supposed to get together and love each other, love on each other, be there for each other, just like I have been for others.
mhm,
And my faith was stirred at the time. Stirred meaning uh I questioned some things. I was challenged in my spirit in terms of, is this really what Christ-like behavior is like? Is this what church life is like?
mhm,
Uh, and throughout my not my career, but throughout my time on my journey, well, 3 decades, I've questioned some things. But
mhm.
I've always come back though to I have to breathe in order to live. And for me, that's my faith.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm fish out of water. So even though when my first 2 marriages failed, and I kind of like, let me take a step back and not be in leadership positions, still attending church, still attending services and things like that, but not really participating. Didn't want to be there because I was so ashamed and embarrassed the fact that I've been divorced and I'm multiple divorcees. So
Mhm,
I thought that I wasn't qualified, that, there's nothing that I could do, and that it was an embarrassing moment, not just to me as a Christian and a believer, but to my family. Again, my dad being, the stature that he was. He's now passed. So at the time, it was very, very embarrassing. I thought I failed my family. I failed myself. This was not what I believed in because I grew up seeing my dad and my mom before he passed, they were married for almost 50 years, and I've never seen them had a fight or argument or for them to call each other out of their names. So that's the kind of relationship that I wanted. That's the kind of uh person that I aspire to be in terms of, I want to have that image of quote unquote not so much of a perfect marriage, but the one that looks like this is godly, right? Because that's what I grew up seeing, a godly marriage where they respected each other, so on and so forth. And so for me, when that didn't happen, my faith was it was tested. It was tested a lot of times. And there are times too that I had some situations happen to me personally where I again question not so much God, but my faith. Is it worth
mhm.
me continuing down this path? Is it worth me keep on believing? Right. And then I've always come back to I have to keep believing. I have to keep going. I have to keep moving. There's no other way. There's no options for me.
Yeah.
Because if not, I feel like I can't breathe. That's what it really means to me in my faith.
That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing. And
Mhm.
thank you for sharing your experiences so openly because what you've experienced, I know that other people have experienced it because of shame, judgments, expectations.
Yeah.
Um, they just carry it on the inside and hope that they're going to be okay
Hmm.
and hope that no one will notice that they're hurting so
Mhm.
much. So I appreciate you sharing because you sharing it's a testimony to deliver somebody
Mhm.
out of their shackles and shame. So thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
welcome.
yeah. Um, what would you say to people that are struggling and also to those who judge people that have been in many different marriages?
Well, first, for those who are struggling, I would say just know that uh, the battle is not yours to fight. And I know that may sound cliche, but it really isn't. If you've been in ministry or a believer long enough, like I have, you've seen some things, you've gone through some things, you've been tested, you've been tried. And then when you come out on the other side, you step back and you realize, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't be where I am today because you are stronger. You are made stronger to me. I am now whole. I feel more complete. I feel more alive. And
Hmm.
if I hadn't gone through the test and the fire, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yeah.
So for those who are still going through that, it's a process.
Hmm.
Embrace the process. It's hard when you're going through it. If you think of, a caterpillar who's going through the cocoon and the chrysalis, it's hard, it's painful, but it's a transformation in that, right? You are transforming to become something beautiful, to become something better.
Yeah.
So in the moment, it feels like it's, oh my God, oh, woe is me, and I'm going under, and I'm suffocating, I can't breathe. But just know that God has you in that cocoon moment when you're in the process, you're in the moment. So, and not only that too, but surrender.
Mm.
Surrender. Don't try to do it all by yourself, because sometimes we do ourselves disservice by trying to fix our own mistakes or our own issues, and we think that we have to do it our own. I've been there.
Yeah.
And all those times I realized, if I just let go and let God just take over and for Him to be in control, everything just happens so much easier, so much smoother. And I've always think of this as when you go into the airport and you have, I'm not sure of the correct term or the name for it, but you have um, the, not a conveyor belt, but that thing that you walk on is like an escalator, but it's flat,
Mm. Yeah.
and you have those, baggages, and you see people struggling and they're walking. I'm like, why not just take the dang thing? It's so much easier. You just stand on it, put your luggage on it, and it's taking you through. But
Yeah.
sometimes we choose the hardest path for ourselves. Why? I don't know. I guess it's human, but we do it, right?
Mm.
So for me, every life without Christ is so much more difficult. With Him, it's like me moving smoothly along on that path in the airport with all my baggages,
Hmm. Hmm.
if that makes sense.
It
And
does.
for those, right? So that's for those who are going through it. And for those who uh I'm sorry, your second part of the question was for those who are going.
People who judges your
Yes,
situation.
yes, love that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, love that question. Because a lot of times, and that's the reason why uh I speak on silence, even in ministry, and boldness, because the church pressure, the judgment,
Yeah.
the shaming,
Hmm.
right? Sometimes you have people, and the older ones too, they do that.
Hmm.
The church mothers or the older church folks, because they are so traditional, and
Yeah.
you know, doesn't matter what happens, if they're being battered and bruised, they're still saying, God hates divorce, so I'm gonna stay with the beating. Hello. And then they're the ones that are shaming others and making them feel like you've done the worst sin ever by getting a divorce, because they
Hmm.
start with the shaming and the blaming and the judgment, and they don't understand what happens behind closed doors. But thanks be to God, He doesn't judge.
Hmm.
They see outwardly, but He sees on the inside. I never forget
Yeah.
one of my longest marriage. I prayed, Bernadette. I prayed for God to take me out of that.
Mm.
Right. And people would say, oh, but God doesn't answer that prayer. No, no, no. He did. He
Yeah.
did. I have proof that He did, because I heard clearly in my prayer when He said, no, it's not time yet. It's not
Mm.
time yet. You have 10 years. And I didn't know what that 10 years meant. And I
Mm.
said,
Yeah.
really? I heard clearly the voice saying 10 years. And it was about maybe mid time, I mean midterm. So it
Mm.
would have been about 5 years into the marriage. And I prayed again a second time, and I heard the same response. No, you need to wait 10 years. I thought the 10 years, I was like, okay, is it 10 years mean 10 more of this to
Mm.
walk through this? Does it mean
Yeah.
10 years? Does 10 means from the time that we met, or does it mean from the time that we got married? I don't know what the 10 meant.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I said, okay, Lord, I'm surrendering. I'm going to be obedient to your voice, to your spirit. And when everything unraveled,
Hmm.
It was not until everything unraveled and settled, then the spirit came back and says, remember I told you 10 years? And when I checked Bernadette, it was 10 years of marriage. I was I was blown away in my spirit. I was like, oh my Lord,
Mm-hmm.
you were preparing me for the next 5 years. I don't know what the tent meant, but that's exactly what you were trying to tell me, that you had 10 years of this because he was working it out for me. Because had I done it before, tried to do it before in my own strength, it would have crumbled in a way that would be unimaginable. But he did it strategically in a way that when it all happened, I couldn't have even put that together the way it happened, the way everything unraveled.
Mm-hmm.
That was God.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that he doesn't answer questions or answer prayers for you when you're asking him to take you out of situations like that. So to go back to your question, judgment is not for you and I to judge others.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for others to judge us and to judge each other. It's for people to support each other in moments because no one knows what happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I was in ministry. I was in the pulpit. I was preaching. I was teaching. I was doing everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I was leading couples ministry with my minister husband, right? And the moment we got into the car, it was a fight, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We just finished counseling a couple, and as soon as the couple walked out the door, we were at each other's throat. So come on,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you would see that and say, "Oh, that's a beautiful couple. Oh my gosh, look at them. They're serving together. They're the perfect couple. Picture perfect, yes. If you're taking the picture from a distance,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Without any, smoke. What do you call it? Kind of a, like a what do you call it? Photoshopping. It
Mm.
looks perfect from a distance. But
Yeah.
if you look closer, you'll realize that, wow, this is not perfect after all. So my thing is, don't judge. Do
Yeah.
not judge because you don't know. And in that judgment too, don't covet. Don't say, well, oh, that's the type of man that I want. Oh, your husband is so great. Really,
Mm.
he's great. He's great in pulpit, you think, because
Yeah.
he can speak in tongues. Speak in tongues doesn't mean that
Yeah.
he's making peace in your life at home.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, for me, I have a love-hate relationship with church. Maybe it has to do with how I was raised. I
Mm-hmm.
was raised around four different religions, and I've had to fight and sit with what resonated with me and
Mm-hmm.
choose.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a Christian. I don't
Mm-hmm.
always go to church. I watch sermons at home. And I
Mm-hmm.
have a very, very intimate relationship with God, with Jesus.
Yep.
And I like that it's not filtered because
Right.
when I let people in, they try to put their own stuff into it. And then I lose myself in their
Mm.
opinions of views, if that
Wow.
makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And see, that's one of my issues with church systems, what I call it. And when I say that without apology. I can because I was born and raised in church, practically, right? With a pastor and then an ordained bishop all my life. And have been around tons of ministers, you name it.
Yeah.
I've been in mega churches. I've been a part of, mass choirs. You see gospel celebrities on TV. I've been in rooms with them. So I've been around those folks and the system, Bernadette, it sucks. Church
Yeah.
system sucks.
Yeah. 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 I just wish some people at church would allow people to suffer and to feel because the as soon as you show that you're hurting, um, it means the prayer didn't work, whatever other labels they may want to put at it. It is
Hmm.
natural and normal to suffer. Even Jesus suffered. He did.
Exactly.
So why can't we
Exactly.
suffer and heal, learn to heal in the way that he did?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, yeah, everything is it's a process. He did things in his own timing.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look throughout the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and you can tell it's all about his timing. And he does what he does, and he's the only person that can do it, and he does his best. We may think that we know
Mm,
because we've read the Bible from cover to cover. It doesn't mean that you know everything, right? And I don't care how long you've been in ministry, I don't care what title you have.
mhm.
If you've never walked a day in my shoes, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't tell me anything. I don't care. You could be the Pope for all I care. You have never walked in my shoes, and I would
Mhm,
say that outward because you have never walked in my shoes.
mhm,
And
mhm,
that goes back to the judgment and that goes back to the system where we think that, okay,
yeah.
we can't do certain things. And if you do certain things, you are no longer Christian or you're no longer a believer. Who are you to
Mhm.
judge me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You mentioned that you're an author. How
Mhm.
many books do you have and what is your book about?
So I do have interesting, and you should ask. I do have this is my first book that's been published. The others are still in work right now. So I don't know if you can see it. It's called Five Undone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
it. It's nice.
yeah, Five Undone. Thank you. Rising Beyond the Ashes, and it is my uh journey
Hmm.
through my five failed marriages, what I've learned have come from that, what I've learned through the process.
Hmm.
They're all lessons. I don't have anything to show for the five marriages. And it's basically my life. It's not a memoir at all. It's my life in terms of ministry and believing, talk about silence, what silenced me, how I've came from that, boldness, being bold,
Hmm.
and redemption, restoration, all of that, right? And one of the things that key things that I learned in that as well is uh oftentimes I would pray that God would restore, but in my prayer time he corrected me about not restoration is not about getting what you've lost per se, but it's about him getting you back to where you were meant to be in the first place. That's the restoration.
Hmm.
And that's in the book. So that's the first one that's been published. It's now available for pre-order and it's released on December 30th. And the others are in the work. So one is going to be Growth in the Process, Beyond the Boardroom. And I have another one that I'm still thinking about. So there are three in the works right now. And for this one, I am creating a guide. A
Hmm.
guide is going to be like a journal guide where it's more so for workshops and women's ministry and things like
Hmm.
that.
I love that you're creating a guide to go with it,
Yeah.
because I think all of us have different learning styles and we digest information differently. Those are my favorite types of books
Yeah.
that I can articulate and either privately or publicly have my own thoughts into it. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah.
Yep. And for this book, for Five Undone, Rise and Beyond the Ashes, at the end of every chapter, there's a couple of reflection questions
Mm.
and a prayer. So I just think it makes sense to have the guide to go along with it so people can actually journal and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Mhm.
So you have a podcast. What is it called? And what do you talk
Yeah.
about?
It's called Unrestrained Boldness.
Ooh.
And the operative word there is boldness. And it's not boldness about being loud or flashy, or it's not about volume. It's really about clarity, courage, finding your sense of self,
Mhm,
and having those bold conversations that need to happen. Those that you're afraid to have because you keep silent, you keep quiet. I
mhm,
also have 25 years in corporate. So part of it is really the corporate silence and what it costs you. It costs your health and things like that. And then I also weave into it different series. I just finished a series in September. Uh, no, it's up there, October, on true silent stories. And it talked about family, fellowship, ministry, talk about workplace silence, talk about marriages that were breaking that you didn't know were breaking, and Boldness Blueprint, which is the voice that shifts culture. And I had quite a few guests on during that time. And then for November, I have a new series as well. For this November, it's about your worth.
mm.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
moving from
big one.
silence. Yeah, from silence to worth is for November.
That's really cool. Where can people listen and find your podcast at?
I am on Spotify, and it's the Unrestrained Boldness. If you go to Spotify and some YouTube, you should be able to find that as well because I did post quite a few episodes on YouTube where I've had guests on talking about their stories and sharing
Nice.
some things with me.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I met
that's
some
really
beautiful, wonderful people through it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can tell it brings you so much joy.
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And this was all birthed out of again, oh my gosh, my because of my faith, I never thought that I would do this because I thought no one needs another podcast. There's so many of them out there.
Yeah,
But this is what, God showed me in my spirit one morning that this is you need to do you need to be there. You need to let your voice be heard. You have a story to
mhm,
share and you're here to bring healing and hope to other people. And so this is just me being obedient. The same thing with the book. The
yeah,
book was birthed out of a prophecy,
yeah.
about writing the book. So I'm just being obedient.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for me, when I got the whisper and the nudge to start a podcast, I'm like, no, pick someone else. There's a bunch
Sounds
of
like
people
me.
in the world, especially in the city I'm in. Find someone else.
Yeah.
Right? And I keep getting the nudge to do it,
Mhm.
do it, do it. And my thing was, there are bigger podcasters out there.
I know.
Like, I don't do tech well, but I'm just doing it. And as I do it, magic is happening. So
Yeah. See?
excited I
Yeah.
listened.
Yeah. I'm like, thanks be to God, people are listening. Mine is still fairly new. I'm not a tech person either. And so I am challenged to get things off the ground.
Mhm.
But again, I'm just being obedient, just getting it out. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't feel like it. And then I hear the spirit says, no, you have to do this.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And I try to remove myself as much as I can out of it because it's not only for me, this is for other people. This is
exactly.
this is a light into
Mm-hmm.
someone's darkness. And
Exactly.
some people are just waiting to hear any stories that are similar
Yeah.
to theirs to
Mm-hmm.
break free out of the cycles that they're in. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Love it.
yeah. What do you want people to get out of this episode?
I want people to know that their past is not their future. It does not define them.
Yeah.
Again, it may sound cliche, but I was driving the other morning and I've heard it before, but not like I heard it in my spirit.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a reason why the rearview mirror is so small, and there's a reason why the windshield is so wide,
Mm,
right? Because there's so much more that's ahead of you. There's a reason why our eyes are in front of us, and there's a reason why our feet are straight or forward, not behind
mhm,
us. So keep moving forward, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the pain, regardless of what you've been through, because some of you have been through so much. Uh, just don't give up. Keep moving one step ahead and
yeah.
keep believing. Keep pushing through. In the Bible, the woman that had the issue of blood, she kept on going.
Mm,
People judged her.
yeah.
People ridiculed her. They scorned her, but she didn't let that stop her because she had one mindset was to get healed.
Yeah.
She kept her focus on Jesus. So keep your focus on what's important to you in life.
Yeah.
Whatever your belief is, whatever your ministry is,
Mhm.
keep that at the forefront
Yeah.
and keep moving forward. Do not be deterred by others because you're going to have the noise, you're going to have the disruptions, you're going to have the distractions, but be intentional with your life, right?
Yeah.
And as you're envisioning what that should be, make your vision, write it down, make it plain, and keep believing, keep speaking it into existence, and it will become yours.
Mm, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Any projects that are coming up? Anything I didn't get to ask you?
No, I think that covers that covers it. I do also have I wrote a stage play.
Okay, tell
God,
me more.
God is just yeah, he's just doing a lot of things. So it's a stage play and it's a comedy and it's like a dramedy actually. Uh, and I wrote a screenplay.
Mhm,
So one is let's circle back, and it's supposed to be funny. It's a corporate setting where you're in meetings and you're here. Let's circle back all the cliches that you hear when let's bring your best selves to work. And so it's about someone playing a bingo card every time that the HR person, the CEO mentions that in an all hands meeting, the
Mhm.
team is there mimicking him and let's circle back and they're circling and say, oh, bingo, but there's an inside joke. So it's hilarious. And my daughter who's she's a performer, so she performs on stage and she's also been
Mhm.
a manager, so she understands that, and so she's getting that together now, for it to go live and for it to get that off the ground to launch. And of course, I'm setting out the screenplay,
Mhm.
beyond the boardroom.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
so I'm working on a lot of projects at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really, really
Yeah.
cool. I have one last question for you as we wrap up.
Mhm.
What is the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life. Oh, I love this question. The meaning of life for me is knowing who I am, knowing where I'm going, knowing in whom I believe,
Mhm.
knowing that I am here for a reason, I have a purpose and a calling, and I will fulfill that.
Mm.
That's the meaning of life for me.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Well, Joe,
Awesome.
thank you for coming on the podcast today. Thank you for
Absolutely.
being a beacon of hope and light and continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you. And thank you so much for this platform. Was it Unleashing Potential? Awesome. Congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.